All right, all right, all right. Yes. Welcome back to another episode, everybody. Yes, we are going to dive into. Oh gosh, yes. Well, let those notifications go out. And I'm going to be doing some brief engineering work that I need to do. So I want to say thank you to everyone for understanding. And I will check the comments, okay? Yeah, but I have to check on something on my personal Facebook side of things real quick because I noticed that some of my live streams that I put over there somehow were changed from public to okay. All right. Yeah, somehow the setting got changed. So let me go ahead and somehow the okay. Setting got changed. Yeah, okay. There we go. Okay, so I see that it got a red live thing over there. Okay, y'all, I got to learn this stuff too, so thank you for your patience. And so let me check over here as well. Yeah, because we got to keep an eye on this stuff. Okay. But it's letting us know, okay, I see something going on. Oh, I guess on the business page, actually, we have to hit the. Oh, I see. Okay. I see how that works. Okay. There we go. And then we're going to dive into how the trauma bond, again, y'all, very, very, very important. Okay. Yes, of how the trauma bond is formed. Okay. You'll learn more about that in the course, obviously, which you will be introduced to in this episode as well, because it starts the moment we are born into this fallen world. So, yes, I am Michelle Dickey. That's right. Nope, that's not where we want to go. I got to close that out. I am Michelle Dickey, your host for the CHA show, streaming on the channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, and Facebook at Consulting for Heightened Awareness and Michelle Dickey. These, the CHA show and the Motivational Monday shows are structured for advertising. Okay, here we go. That's what I wanted. For advertising. Okay, there we go. Checking on all platforms to make sure that everything is set to public. I don't know how that happened on my personal profile on Facebook, but yeah, all right, everybody. So I'm going to be watching that clock very closely. And so, welcome to everybody. Come on in. All right. For those who are familiar with how God has us doing things, okay, that these, right, we have to put into action what we learn, right? All right. So, the trauma bond, okay, there's a lot that goes into how it's formed. So, like I said, stay tuned for that, okay? Uh, because I'm gonna switch. God's switching the order up on me. You gotta love it when He does that. Yes, God is switching it up. Okay, because since I'm talking about this, how these narcissists, okay, the evildoers, just like us, everybody, okay, when we are born into this world, everybody gets trauma bonded to the world. Think about when we are little babies, right? What do, right? We see a baby and they're smiling and all happy, and we do what? We coo, right? Okay. I know, chosen ones, we outgrow that. Okay, but the thing is, I'm just giving y'all an example, okay? It starts at the moment that we are born into this world, because what did a baby get from society, right? Oh gosh, yeah. Now, in today's time, here in the 2023, we see it a lot more. Okay, but they get coddled, right? All this attention, all this loving on, right? Yeah. And so as they, right, we go through. Now, some of us, it was a little bit different, because I had to get my pair of these at the age of 3. So it's a little bit different for those of us that might have had a little something different, going on there. Because we're all different, unique, but we're all made in God's perfect image. Never forget that. And so I see that the enemy's playing. Yep. Okay. The enemy is playing as usual, y'all. The enemy just has head game. The enemy does not want to see consulting for hire. He doesn't want to see anybody succeed, but we already have succeeded. I am successful. Thank you very much. We know that. Y'all better be speaking that positive stuff over your life. By the way, for those of you who were with us earlier today, it finally arrived, okay? And so I am going through it, okay? So we are, and it does have some things in here. The Apocrypha. Yeah, I'm going to, ooh, okay. It's very intriguing. It's very, very intriguing. I'm looking forward to getting into that. All right, everybody. And but we are all trauma bonded to the world first. Okay? Remember all that cooing and coddling as a child. All perfectly normal. But the difference is we start to undergo, well, remember we get into school, right? Right. We start that indoctrination camp, if you will, right? To fill our heads full of worldly garbage, right? To try and turn us into mind-numbed robots. Yes, to try and turn us into mind-numbed robots. I saw the Wi-Fi do that. So we go through that. And if any of you all are having Wi-Fi issues, just hang tight. You can catch this on the replay. Absolutely. You can catch it on the replay. Okay, but it starts the moment we're born. Never forget that, okay? So we go through that. We get into elementary school, right? We start that process. Right? And then those of us went to junior high. Oh, chosen ones start getting picked on and made fun of in elementary school right away. Now, I will tell you this. When I started getting picked on and made fun of the most was when I was relocated to North Carolina at the age of 8. So I was originally born and lived in California for the first 7.5 years or so of my life. And at that elementary school and stuff, I don't have any recollection of being made fun of or picked on there. Not at all. It started when we got to North Carolina. I was 8 years old. Okay? And so from then on, yep, you name it, spitballs in the hair on the bus. Oh, yeah. And then my last name, oh gosh, when I had braces and glasses and these, you can imagine. And so I cannot count the number of times when I got off that bus and I'm walking down the gravel road to get to my house, to get home, and I had tears in my eye, right? Of course. We're kids. We're young. We were being narcissistically abused already. But we're trauma bonded to the world by what we're being taught in school and all of that. Okay, right? And so we, oh gosh, yeah. We always felt awkward, right? We tried to fit in with what we used to think were the popular kids, right? Oh yeah, come on now. We tried. We really wanted to fit in, right, with what we thought was the popular crowd. We realize now, as grown adults out here in God's reality, we realize that popularity stuff is just an illusion. It's a mindset. It is not exactly. God doesn't care about that. Being popular, that's just an ego stroker. And so, whenever I see in my notification, I don't care where it is, it tries to tell me that this hashtag or that hashtag is popular right now. I don't care. Chosen ones don't care about that. God doesn't care about that. So we realized this later in life, though, but while we were going through the indoctrination process, right, we did, because we didn't know where we belonged, right? We didn't have any sense of belonging yet. But then we enter our adolescent years and we go through some more of that. And then we get hooked up with the wrong people that trick us into making bad decisions. But God forgives for all of that. And so, right, we're still trying to figure out who we are. We're still trying to figure out what this life is all about, right? So we break curfew a few times. You get grounded. Like, come on, I'm keeping it real, y'all. So we go through all that. And we start to grow and mature. And then we graduate from high school. Those of us who do. If you didn't, you can always, nobody's looking down on nobody here. Not exalting for heightened awareness. Because we realized that we went through all of that. It was just the evil world's attempt at trying to turn us into a mind-numbed robot so that we would become exactly little worker bees for everybody else. And never tap into our God-given purpose. That's what the enemy wouldn't want. And so I know the enemy's playing head games. It started yesterday. He's been doing it today too. In the tech world. So I don't know what's up. And it don't matter. I'm going to deliver the message. Okay? And so that's how that goes, right? And so we are being conditioned as part of the trauma bonding process to the world. We're being conditioned to tolerate all of that narcissistic abuse, right? All that wickedness, all that witchcraft. Being laughed at, made fun of, mocked. And what do we now know? Be not deceived. God is not mocked. He'll take care of them. He always does. And so it is time for a quick profit break, and you are going to learn about exactly where you can learn more about how the trauma bond is formed. Stay tuned to learn more about how narcissists are trauma bonded to the world and to each other when we come back. Are you still getting trauma bonded to narcissists? Do you want to learn how the trauma bond is formed? The course, How the Trauma Bond is Formed at CHA Academy is for you.
We hear about how the trauma bond is like a drug addiction, but what does that mean? With a background in forensic toxicology, I answered that question in How the Trauma Bond is Formed at CHAAcademyBTBW.com. Once you know the trauma bonding process is simply a manipulation of the brain chemistry to keep people emotionally dysregulated, you will never allow another love bomb to manipulate your dopamine again, and in turn never get trauma bonded to another narcissist. The link to the course is also listed in the video description. I look forward to seeing you at CHA Academy, where iron sharpens iron, with fellow spiritual warriors for Christ. Sending love and light always.
All right. Welcome back. Yes, whenever I come back, for those who are not aware of this yet, in my studio, I am monitoring things over here, obviously. And so there's a little microphone icon over here. And so whenever I go to anything that is music wise or ad related, then it mutes the microphone on my end so that we don't so it doesn't any noise or anything, or if I'm saying something, it's not going to interfere. Okay. So there you go. All right. That is a great course. I do not bog y'all down with overly sophisticated words. We've got fellow warriors that can attest to that. And you will see course because I break it down in its simplicity. All of what we do is with God's wisdom, basic scientific facts, tried and true techniques, and more. Okay, I'm sharing with you all God's wisdom, and then the basic scientific facts that I know about, drug addiction and what it does, because the trauma bond is just like one, right? Okay, well, I can tell you why. That's why God had me get that master's in toxicology, forensic toxicology, part of it. Okay, so we would understand a lot better and get a deeper understanding of how our brain chemistry is manipulated during the trauma bonding process. And that is exactly like you heard. That is to keep people emotionally dysregulated, because as long as this can be manipulated, you ain't gonna have no stability in your emotion. And in turn, the abusers will use our emotion as ammunition to abuse. But the narcissists, they themselves, we get to the other side of the rainbow, y'all. Yes, we do. Where we find that balance, okay? And we can obtain and maintain emotional regulation no matter where we're at or what's going on out there. You got to, yes, myself and many others are living testimonies to that. It's so that we don't lose our composure. Yeah, see, I can feel God's spirit trying to push the enemy, trying to get in there with the negative thoughts. I just felt God go, that's awesome. See, God fights our battles for us like that. We have to let him, okay? And stay focused on what he has us working on. Like right now, I'm staying focused on, I felt it, but I'm staying focused on getting y'all this stuff. How the evildoers are still trauma bonded to the world. See, that's the enemy's other goal. Besides turning as many into Jezebels as he can, it's keeping people trauma bonded to the world. Because you stay trauma bonded to the world, that's an unhealthy attachment to people and things, right? Well, like I've said before, that the enemy has trauma bonded to the world first, so that it would make it easier for us to get trauma bonded to one of his flying monkey narcissistic abusers, the narcissist, right? Yeah, we know the narcissist or the actual demon spirit, but it's just easier to put it into perspective. Okay, I understand, because when we first start learning about narcissistic abuse and the abuse, we're not searching narcissistic abuser, we're searching narcissist. So just know that we understand the difference. Okay, but just calling them narcissists keeps it simplified, if you will. But we know we are talking about human hosts of demon spirits, right? Okay. But they are very much trauma bonded to the world. And that is a large part of what keeps them emotionally stunted. Because keeping them emotionally stunted allows for their negative emotion to control them. They have zero control of themselves. Zero. No control of themselves whatsoever. And they are crept and unawares that, that's right, they are crept and unawares that they are being controlled by their own emotion. Remember, they also don't know they're demonically possessed. They don't know. And if you try to teach them any of God's spiritual truth, it goes right over their heads. That's right. And so many out here will tell you that the narcissists don't get trauma bonded. Correction. They don't get trauma bonded to us, to God's chosen one. No, they don't. They trauma bond us to them until, right? Until God awakens us. We do that inner work and we get fully healed from all that trauma. Nothing triggers us anymore. We remain calm. We lose our composure. That's right. And we know that the enemy, all he's got is head games. That's it. Let that sink in. Because nothing can stop God. Nothing. And so they stay trauma bonded to the world. So in turn, they stay trauma bonded to whatever matrix they're trauma bonded to. Remember, y'all, there is more than one matrix inside that narcissistic matrix. Yes. There's many matrices. Got the playlist on the YouTube channel, the matrix and matrices, but I go more in detail about the different matrices on our Patreon channel. I have weekly content that goes on that channel as well. We try to put some stuff out across all social every week and weekend, y'all. We don't sit around with twiddling our phones. God tells us when to take a break, when to take it easy and things like that. Yes. And so there are a lot of dogs in this area. So if you hear one barking outside, that's what it is. I don't know if this microphone picks that up or not. But I do understand that the way we will keep those who never intended to support consulting for heightened awareness, genuinely, they never had any intentions of doing so, they're not going to come and sit to a live stream that has advertisements. I'm going to tell you that, okay? But that's for somebody else too, one of y'all. When you get into yours, right, and you start figuring out how God wants you to promote, that's how you'll be able to test the waters. Because those who have that demon of complaining, they're still complaining about advertisement and ads. Got to work on that. We all had to overcome that. And I'm telling you, it gets real easy to overcome that and to knock that off when we are, when we are, in their shoes. Because we have to promote. So we no longer complain about others who advertise anymore because we get it. We understand the importance of it and that it works. So I thank you all for understanding. And like I said, they're not going to stick around for long. And I know that the enemy is trying to, I know, but whatever. Y'all going to catch it on the replay. Absolutely, 100%. Okay, but the, whatever matrix they are trauma bonded to. Hey, listen, I'm going to tell y'all how severe that trauma bond to the matrix is for the narcissist. I tried with a couple of them to let them know that what they were watching on the news was fake. It's just an illusion. It's all for entertainment. It's all part of the entertainment. And that a lot of those events are staged. Think about it. How many times do we see those actors engaging in all kinds of toddler games and activities? Right, that's to keep it normalized for the toddler and adult body. Right? Yeah, because I remember asking God that question as he would perk my eyes and ears up. Because I was like, why are they having, they're grown adults, right? Having, talking head competition, usually amongst 3 of them. And they're going about in the square and they're riding little kids' tricycle. Huh? That is not normal. It's just to keep the game of narcissism going. Keep them trauma bonded, keep those toddlers in adult bodies trauma bonded to that matrix. So they keep believing the lies and the deceit of the enemy, and they don't realize that all that's just made up. And it's all part of the divide and conquer agenda of the enemy. And the toddler in adult bodies don't have a clue that they are puppets on a string. They don't. They don't even realize that, listen, we all had to wake up, right? Chosen one, yeah, we had to wake up to see this. So when God awakened us so that we could see this and get no purpose, the enemy is going to always try and make it appear as though chosen ones don't exist. Don't fall for that. Because God hastens things on his time always. God is a promise keeper. God is not going to drop us on it. God is going to make sure his chosen ones are taken care of, and then some. And we don't let these toddlers in adult bodies poke and prod anymore. Because when we shut off that empathy, we stop letting them tug at our heartstring. See, that's the thing. How they get, that's part of the trauma bonding process too. Think about it. Toddlers in adult body, grown adults wanting to get your pity, right? They want you to feel sorry for them. So they look at you with puppy dog eyes. We don't fall for that anymore. Right? Okay. And so, again, you will learn more about real world connection to the spiritual realm on our Patreon channel. And listen, there is a public, about 16-minute public video letting y'all know about some of the type of content you'll get on that channel. I highly encourage you to hop on over there and watch that. And then there's a short 6-minute intro, okay, to also give you a heads up. And then read that description. Okay, I'm going to read that description because we learned that we are on a world stage, and a lot of things that we were taught through that indoctrination process, not real, never happened. Right? Time for a short profit break. Stay tuned to learn more about the trauma bond and narcissist when we come back.
CHA's Patreon membership channel is another place to support this ministry and work for as little as $5 a month. When you become a member, you will unlock access to a lot of content that will further help you purge that subconscious mind of worldly garbage to make more room for God's wisdom. We have been lied to since birth about a lot of things. On CHA's Patreon membership channel, we make real-world connection to the spiritual realm and more. The link to CHA's Patreon channel is listed in the video description below and on the My Social page of CHA's website at CDHRWDRMD.org. Thank you for becoming a loyal member of CHA's Patreon channel. Sending love and light always.
All right. Welcome back. All right, everybody. There you go. Giving you your information that you need. All right. And so we learn that we got to break trauma bond to overcome trauma trigger. Get, those narc fleas that are clinging to us for a time because of the projection of the narcissistic abusers. Exactly. So we have to overcome all of that. And in order to do so, that's right, we learn that all of that stuff is external now, right? Okay. So once it sinks in that we understand that the Godhead is on the inside of us and that none of that negative stuff coming from him, then that means it's not coming from within us either. So it gets easier to go, okay, hold on a second. You sense the negative energy of, let's say, the most common one is anxiety, but it's not coming from in you. You're like, okay, where's it coming from? Take that assessment. That's how we start breaking trauma bond, is by understanding that it's not in us. It's external. Because the enemy is stuck in the Old Testament, right? He lives in the past. So, right, exactly. Listen, y'all, these narcissists do the same thing. They keep living in the past. They stay with what they know, all they know, and that's all they want to know. They don't want to learn anything new. They don't want to even touch God's reality. They can't handle it. They would not be able to handle this. In God's reality, absolutely not. And so they continue to stay trauma bonded to the world until they pass away. They're still trauma bonded to the world all the way up to there. And it is, I know it is sad, but we're not going to sit there and feel sorry for them. Because they could have, if they wanted to, they could change. But because society continues to hand them everything they want, and then some, give them all that attention, adoration, right? Why would they want to change? They don't. They don't think they need to. Because they're just going about, hey, everybody else is doing it, so it must be okay. That's not what God says. God says, do not conform to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of the mind so that we can do that which is acceptable, the perfect will of God. So, chosen one, we learn how to start breaking those trauma bonds. And God has us do it on the individual level from the abuser first, right? We have to do that first. But then we start connecting dots to all of that on the societal level. And so what do? That's right. 1 Timothy 6:7 again. We realize that we didn't bring anything in. We're surely not going to take anything out. And that materialistic things are replaceable. But chosen ones are not hard on their things, you see. Chosen one, that's right. That's something I got to share with you all. This is your inspo. Because it's something that we would never be able to realize about ourselves if we're still living in a toxic environment. We would not ever be able to see this about ourselves. Chosen one, that's right. Chosen one are not hard on their things. Chosen one is by God's grace, right? Chosen ones are not destructive. So let me get something to show you all what I'm talking about, because when God revealed it to me, I was like, whoa, I have had that for a long time. See, these tank tops that y'all see me wear sometimes, right? It's 2023, right? Okay, I was an undergrad 2013, 14, well, until 2016 when I graduated. I got this when I was an undergrad with some others. That lets you know, chosen ones, we are not hard on our stuff. I just have to show you all that in case you're not seeing it yet. But we are not hard on our stuff. We take care of our stuff. That's right. The narcissists are highly destructive. And so you can say that because of their trauma bond to the world and the hate they have for themselves and the hate that they have for Jesus, yeah, they are delusional. God told us because of their wicked ways, I'm paraphrasing here, because of their wicked ways, He's going to turn them over to strong delusion. And that's exactly what He does. So they continue to remain trauma bonded to the world, believing the lies, living in the fantasies in their own heads, or creating or well, I guess you can say they do. They conjure up some sort of fantasy based on whatever matrix they're trauma bonded to. And I know the enemy is trying to discourage us from getting up here with the CHA show where we can advertise. I know that, but it's not going to work. We're going to show up. God willing. Because God says we got to do what we got to do. Because we are a growing community of spiritual warriors for Christ at Consulting for Heightened Awareness. So as they remain trauma bonded to the world, that's right, they will always be easily triggered because they're living in fear. Remember that. The trauma bond leads to living in fear. That's so important to remember. That being trauma bonded, the enemy needs people trauma bonded to the world so that they live in fear. So yes, chosen one, even for a time before we knew better, the difference is chosen one didn't live 100% in fear. No, we didn't. We did have faith the size of a mustard seed. It was there. These narcissists know that. They knew it too, because they can tell when we're not living in fear. They can tell when we're not experiencing that. And so we start to understand why they continue to live in fear. Well, they're trauma bonded to the matrix that keeps fear mongering them. That's the enemy's thing. He has to instill fear. Because living in fear is lack of faith. The chosen ones never had a complete lack of faith. Remember, the size of a mustard seed. But now when God awakens us, right, we're in the spiritual awakening. We're in God's reality. I know what the enemy's got going on right here, and I can see it too. So, yeah, I rebuke in the name of Jesus that they go away, because he got one of his flying monkeys popping in about every, let's see, what has it been now? Yeah, about every 20 minutes. Because they want to see if I'm sitting or standing. Kind of makes me want to refer to that song. How do you like me? You know what I'm talking about. Anywho, listen, because I know that's what he's doing. The enemy got one of his flying monkey Jezebel checking to see if I'm standing or sitting. That's all it is. That's head games. But he needs people living in fear. Okay, he needs people living in fear so that they are more easier to control and manipulate, right? Abuse. Through all that narcissistic abuse on the societal level that we see on a daily basis. So we want to be mindful going forward that, okay, you know what? They don't even know they're trauma bonded to the world either. Okay? Now remember, same concept applies, okay, here, because get them trauma bonded to the world so that they are easier, for everyone's easier for us to be trauma bonded to one of his flying monkey narcissists, right? So it only makes sense that narcissists get trauma bonded to each other because they're trauma bonded to the world. They don't get trauma bonded to chosen one. When they target us, they don't get trauma bonded to us. No. They cannot stand us. But remember, it isn't us. It's Jesus that they can't stand. Their demon spirit can see. Okay? They can see the anointing on us. Chosen one. And so because their negative emotion control the human host, and the human host is crept and unaware, I got to remind y'all that the human hosts don't even know that they're giving us the evil eye. That doesn't excuse it. That just lets you know how deep the spiritual goes. They don't even know that that's what they're doing. They are completely unaware of their own facial expression. They are completely unaware that they're giving us the evil eye. Now, with the male narcissist, because of their pervertedness, that spiritual wickedness in high places, they do know when they are lusting after through the eyes. That they do know. Because that is part of their, walking in their flesh. That's part of what they do. But chosen one, once we are awakened, we get to the other side of that rainbow, we break trauma bond, and we finally break that trauma bond to the world, so that whenever something goes a little wonky on one of our devices, we no longer have any reaction. We know that the enemy is just playing a head game. It doesn't trigger us anymore. Nope. If we accidentally type in the wrong password and it goes, right, it does that little jerky movement, we no longer have any reaction. We're like, oh, slow down. Slow down and try again. And we're unpacking that bag, right? Writing down talents, gifts, right? They're derived from our skill set. That's right. And then we got to learn how to execute. We got to learn about the 5 P's and execute them, right? That's what we're doing every single day in God's reality as we co-create with our Creator. Time for another quick profit break. Stay tuned to learn more about the trauma bond and narcissist when we come back.
Are you ready to get better organized in thought and action to level up your trauma healing and spiritual growth? The 5P coaching course at CHA Academy is for you. You will learn the tried and true techniques that will help you get better organized in thought and action to get things done effectively and efficiently. Once you begin putting the 5Ps in action, you will quickly see how they often work together simultaneously. Once enrolled in the course, you receive lifetime access to the course materials and the community forum where masterclasses are available at no additional cost. You can learn more about the 5P coaching course at CHAacademybtbw.com and click on all courses. Thank you for enrolling. Sending love and light always.
All right. Welcome back. Yes, I'm watching that microphone. When the mute comes off, then I start speaking. So, because there is a slight delay whenever I do that, okay, for those who didn't catch it in the beginning, whenever I insert an ad or some music or what have you, the software mutes my microphone. So I gotta wait for it to unmute. I learned that by catching it when I had to see something on a replay. Every once in a while, I don't sit and watch my own videos unless somebody points something out and I need to go check it, or God says, hey, I need you to see what's going on with that. And then that's it. Even when I edit the pre-records, unless I have very specific moments where I want to insert a tag, I might. It just depends. All right, everybody. So we realized that they're trauma bonded to the world. We were once too. For those of you who are working on breaking that trauma bond to the world, keep going. And like the first segment, right, in the first short ad, we also have the How the Trauma Bond is Formed course. That's a really great tool to help y'all break those trauma bonds. But when we understand that those trauma bonds are just like drug addiction, oh gosh, we understand that. And it is, listen, I will tell y'all, I'm going to give you a little bit of a story, all right, because we were trauma bonded to the world. And so we were celebrating what everybody else was celebrating, right? Because we didn't know anything else until we learned that a lot of the man tradition, you'll learn more about that on the Patreon channel as well. That was our second profit break. You'll learn more about that because we learned that they are pagan holidays. Think about the word or the name, if you will. Think about the name Satan. All you have to do is switch a couple letters and what do you have? Santa. That's not a coincidence. So we learned. So here's a brief story, because that's one of the holidays that we all got conditioned to believe was representing what it was representing, and it's not. Okay, so because I asked the question now, what does a man in a red and white outfit with a white beard, all that, have to do with the birth of Jesus? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. So we learned that, and we stopped celebrating. I'm going to share with you all the truth, okay? Because that's part of when I was breaking the trauma bond with the world. And so it was tough. Okay, it was a challenge because we had been conditioned for so many years. And so I had some decoration and some things, in the room in the old place. And so one day, God told me to get a garbage bag. And some of it got donated, and some of it got tossed into the garbage. But it took me a little bit to get there. I'm not going to lie to you all, because that was part, yes, we were trauma bonded to it. Remember, trauma bonded to the world, right? But I will tell you this, the first bag that I got rid of, I felt God do a backflip. So I knew he was pleased. And so that was very liberating. And so I was like, okay, we broke that trauma bond. So I got another bag, filling it up. All right, let's get all this junk out of here. Then I used to be big into football, same thing. I outgrew that. And so I had a team that was a favorite team of mine. Remember, playing favorites is a sign of narcissism, right? So we had to break that and knock that off. And so I got all of the little knickknacks or whatever. I donated those because I know there's people who are still going through those seasons in life, okay? Then there were some other childish things. I had like a little minion coloring book, a minion this, whatever. All that got tossed in the garbage. That's how I was breaking trauma bonds, y'all. That's how we did it. I'm giving y'all the rundown, seriously, because that's how we did it. We had to do it. And for everything that I got rid of, God did that backflip. Like, all right, keep going. So then as we were getting in here, all right, I mean, I did a lot of donating because of space-wise, for clothes and things. Didn't have a choice, and that's all right. I got just what I need to keep on keeping on. And so anything that represents anything from a childish thing, you will not find in here. On that bookshelf, those are some of my college textbooks from forensic toxicology and forensic science. I kept those, that's right. And then copies of my book. And then a simple cookbook. Right? But you will not find any childish knickknacks. What have you. I mean, sure, I got a float over here for the pool, but listen, whatever. That's not childish. That's for when we can get back to the pool. And that's how we do it. Put away those childish things. Because if we're hanging on to that stuff, now I'll tell you another reason why it was pretty easy to get rid of a lot of that stuff, because a lot of that stuff was gifted by evildoers during that pagan holiday. And I realized that it just, breaking trauma bond to the world, breaking that trauma bond to the world gets easier, but you got to break the trauma bond to the individual abuser first, or abusers, okay? For those of us who had more than one. All right, everybody, so that wraps this one up, okay? So I gave you a little story time, breaking the trauma bond to the world, because we have to do that. Nothing that we have in the physical is going with us where Jesus is taking us. I am Michelle Dickey. That's right, your host for the CHA show, streaming on the YouTube channel Narcissism and Cognitive Dissonance, and Facebook at Consulting for Heightened Awareness and Michelle Dickey. Sending love and light to all fellow warriors. Thank you for watching, listening, and for your support. Until next time, let's show some gratitude to the Heavenly Father, and you keep being you. In Jesus' name, amen.